What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Mistick's MMOs. I'm your host, Mistick Raven. All right, here it is. Said and done. The last has finally arrived. Omega. All right, this is my Mag Sorc build. Let's get into it. Character sheet. We got 37,000 max magicka. With 1460, a magic recovery before pot, spell damage before proc 3890, spell crit and even 52% before proc, spell resistance, physical resistance before proc 17 and 14. All points have been allocated into max magicka. We are using ghastly eyeballs. We're using the thief mundus, and on the front bar, pretty much the same. This is a static build. There's no maelstrom weapon. You can try to implement a maelstrom weapon, but forewarning, when you proc, it's going to cost you when you swap bars. Okay? You've been warned. You have that option, but you've been warned. This is without the kilt. You do not need the kilt with this. Okay? This build is meant to be a static build. It's just really good. Sets we're going to be utilizing. False God. Now this is not perfected, but if you get the perfected, it just makes it that much better. So we're going to be using the flame staff with weapon damage enchantment, precise. False God. Spell crit, minor slayer, spell crit. Reduces the cost of your magic abilities by 8%. When an enemy you recently damaged dies, you restore 2,454 magicka and gain major expedition for 8 seconds, increasing your movement speed by 30. This effect can occur once every second. We're going to use the lightning staff, precise, shock damage. Oh my god, I don't have daggers. Nope, I don't have daggers. Don't want them. I want the staff. Why do I want the staffs? Especially because when we take a look into the destruction staff, we're going to use force pulse, but that's a flex spot. But the most important aspect, right? When equipped, an Inferno staff increases your damage done with single target abilities by 8. Count it, 8%. You have your daggers. Keep them. I'm good. Alright. So. Now, because we're using False God, we can use Mulak Kina. This is going to give us the highest spell damage scale in the game. I don't want Scoria. Why? Because this is going to give me more bang for my buck without the scale when I proc. And yes, it's 560 spell damage. It increases the cost of the abilities by 8%, but False God negates that cost effect. Told you I'm back. Heads Divine, heavy. This is a 511 config. So one heavy head, light chest, infused. You can have an infused head and a divine chest, however you want to do that. Medium divine shoulders, max magicka. All of this is max magicka. Divine, only one infused. Divine max magicka is mother, or secondary sets Mother Sorrow. This is, like I said, it's a static. So max magicka, spell crit, more spell crit. False God, divine. Mother Sorrow, divine, max magicka. False God, amulet, infused, spell damage. Another infused spell damage. Why? Because 80% of the time, you know, I would, or 90, should say 90% of the time, I want that extra spell damage. But I do go with one Bloodthirsty, so I do get that extra 350 spell damage. Really, really nice. Really good. Okay. Let's go ahead and get into the ability, shall we? Primary bar, degen. Okay, it's going to give us our major sorcery. It's going to apply a dot. Also in the Mages Guild, we're going to get, I don't even have that one bar, but we're going to get Max Magicka and Magicka Recover by 2% for having it slotted. Flex spot here, Force Pulse. If you want to use Elemental Weapon, you can. That's your choice. Okay. Crystal Frag. Hits like a flipping freight train. So it's barred. 8% towards all of this. Yum, 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 yum. Haunting Curse. I'm not using the finisher. Haunting Curse deals more damage. So we're going to go with it. To help our scaling for Max Magicka, you're going to be pot dependent. But Bound Aegis is the way to go. Why? 8% towards Max Magicka. Also, you can activate it for extra resistance if you need it. Also, we're going to have Power Overload. You can use this. It does hit really hard, but typically I go with Summon Atronach for my ulti. I like this though because of scaling purposes, and I can utilize it, you know, for a single target finishing phase. And it does hit really hard. But when we go into Storm Calling, we get Expert Mage. So we get 8% towards our spell damage for each sorcery ability slotted. Back bar, we still have the 8%. Right? Okay? So only 2 abilities each bar are not sorcerer-based abilities. Okay? With that being said, Lightning Flood, Unstable Wall of Storms. Keep in mind you also get Energize, increase the damage of your shock abilities by 5%. So I do not use orbs in this build. If you want to use orbs, you can, but keep in mind your Expert Mage will drop down to 6, and you'll lose that 10% just on that one ability. So heads up. This is a flex spot, Boundless Storms. I like Boundless Storms. Why? It gives me a lot of resistance, and it deals a lot of damage when I'm procced up. So once I proc this up, I'm at 23 and 20. I don't need a shield. But just in case, I have the Sigic passive on this bar, which gives that to me. If you use Elemental Weapon, you'll get that shield on that side too. So once again, your call. But if you don't want this, you can place orbs here. That would be my recommendation, and keep the Lightning Flood. Okay, Race Against Time. We are not using Medusas. Okay. Tired of everybody in that set. I'm using Race Against Time. Alright. So I have a built-in shield by utilizing it. This is a non-pet build. And because I want that extra Sorc passive and this to be static, we have Bound Aegis on both sides and Summon Charge Atronach. Alright. That is pretty much the build, but let's go ahead and get into the proc and show you what this baby looks like once he's procced up. You're going to need spell crit pots. Okay. Now we come back in. Over 6k without the weapon enchantment. 70% crit. 41% with the war. 41 max magic with the Warhorn, and 20 for recovery. 6-8 is our max. If you get the perfected, you'll get more. Scoria only gets 6-7. And our spell crit, 70%. Why does it scale so high? Exploitation. Right? And our weapons are precise. There you guys have it. It was worth it. It was well worth putting this build together. I love it. I love it. And if you're a Sorc and you're tired of playing that pet build and you want to get away from it and you want amazing sustain with a ton of damage, then guess what? This build is for you. We do our thing here, and I like providing for you guys always. This is Mistick Raven. This is Mistick's MMOs. Thank you. And as always, have a nice day.